Hello everyone, welcome back to Bricks, and today I'm gonna be reviewing set 7256 Jedi Starfighter and Vulture Droid. This set was one of the first episode 3 sets to come out, period. It is the very first time that we ever see Anakin's yellow Jedi Interceptor in LEGO. I just recently received the most recent one. Once I review that, there will be a comparison between these two, so I thought this was a great time to do this set. This is also a really neat look back in LEGO history, It's also it's a decent size. That wave actually has some pretty big sets in it, but I'm super pleased to have this set. I bought it while it was used off of eBay, collector owned, no yellowing or anything. So I'm very pleased to share it with you today here on Bricks. Alright, so to start off this review, we're gonna take a look at the builds individually and the minifig, of course. But before we get to that, we must take a look at the box and the instruction manual, because actually there's always been some really nice hidden just gems in these older boxes and instruction manuals, because honestly, there's a lot cooler than today's. Alright, but we're gonna start with the instruction manual. And, it has the same box art there, just not the information. I do love that Darth Vader that they use there. Opening up it starts right off and it shows you how to build it now. It's just look at, like, that looks different, doesn't it? Yeah, it almost has a space starry background there with some, what is that, fire? Yeah, it may give you a better look at that. Yeah, that's a better look, yeah. That looks cool, honestly. I don't remember the building process being hard at all. So, these manuals are so much cooler back then. Now the backs of them, the last couple of pages are where the magic is. Here is an advertisement for the Lego Star Wars the video game. April 2005. Just look at some of I have the complete saga just for mobile. Like, you can see just some of the differences that were, I believe. Yeah, it says it was for PlayStation, Xbox, Game Boy, and PC. Wonder which one that they're showing here. Yeah, that's a really neat look back into history there. And do we see, what is that, an old, I've never seen that kind of wind thing before. My favorite part is this advertisement for the TIE Fighter set where they show that light up figure. Excuse me. It says original trilogy edition. That's cool. I like that a lot. And yeah, that's the end. So, not as much in the instruction manual as some of the others, some other older ones that I own, but still just a really cool and interesting look back in time. Here's the box, like I said, but something interesting, it does not show the minifig anywhere. Like usually they'd have it like there in modern sets. There he is. Once again, I did not get this set sealed. The box was opened by the previous owner using those. Speaking of the back of the box, we have some really cool stuff here. Something that LEGO does not do today. Some alternate build before we get to that. Just see a little bit of the play features and other boring stuff. Advertisement, boring stuff. Let's get to the interesting stuff. So these are always super cool and interesting. As you can see there, they made a mech out of those two builds. That is sick. That's awesome. Then they made also a little cool Starfighter. Look at that. That almost looks like a combination of a Jedi Starfighter and a Jedi Interceptor. That's cool. So yeah, this box is just really neat. And because we are done with that box, I'm just gonna go right back into it and take a look at the build, as there's enough space here and no need to reset the camera. First, gonna take a look at the Vulture Droid. I believe this was the very first Vulture Droid to be made in this color. This Vulture Droid is not, this build actually is not exclusive to the set. In fact, only the box and the instruction manuals, and I guess the sticker sheet if you got it used, are actually exclusive to the set. I believe the Ultimate Space Battle had everything else in it. So, I'm so happy to have all this though. For its day, this looks pretty good. It's very swooshable. It's very sturdy. Of course, you have quite a bit of sticker detailing on it. Quite a bit of stickers in this set, though. Actually, there's a lot. They did come pre-applied. Just one of them was off in this. But, you know, still, yeah. All the stickers look very good on it. You have those red cones for lasers, a couple of white pieces, though I don't know exactly why they did that. But of course, this is a Vulture Droid, so there's a couple of rearrangement. Of course, the modern, with the wings, with the modern builds, you know, you can just simply turn them. You know, like, no disassembly needed, but in these older models, you do, there's some girl tiles there just for some extra, you know, the extra detail. But, you know, you literally take those pieces off. And I'm only just going to do it to one because we do need to have them back out, as that's how they look like when they're not in battle. Alright, well, kind of cool. Of course, much more interestingly, we get to see how they look like when they're walking. In terms of the legs, you don't really have to do anything besides just bring that up. Actually, a little bit forward would be more accurate. You can also, like, lean those a little bit forward there. Additionally, this says be a Vulture Droid. So you do take this off. This is an assembly just with a Technic pin. And now, whoa, yeah, that's actually fairly stable. You put that on there and, yeah, now it is standing. Yeah, honestly, yeah, it doesn't look too bad. That white definitely looks a little bit awkward. Definitely looked better in the flying position. But yeah, you know, well, it takes a little bit more effort to rearrange compared to older ones. Overall, you know, not too shabby for back then. But of course, now we're going to get to arguably the star of the set, the original Jedi Interceptor. Of course, I do not have I have not opened the most recent one, so I'm not able to really give you my thoughts on this being an older model. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it just being a model. Now, let's start off with the wings here. So, there's our stickers right there, by the way. Yeah, they may look not exactly parallel to each other, but actually this one was way off. I had to move that quite a bit. I think they still use those pieces, you know, like till this day. To this day, they still use those pieces on the Jedi Interceptor, I believe. And you have that one inside. Yeah, that is R2-D2's head. That is not a minifig of R2-D2. Can't take him out at all. Well, I guess, yeah, that would, you know, yeah. Which I guess is alright. It does ruin play value, but it improves looks. So, you know, that's an interesting trade-off. They use those minifig head brackets to put some more weapons on the front. You get some of those, like, hose nozzles with no rope. Or these pieces have been, I don't think they've really ever changed this. Besides, like, the color of the gray. You can fold both of these out. So I guess give it in more of an attack position. More of an attack, you know, yeah, I'm gonna pick this up. Oh, yeah, just give it just more of an attack, like pattern. Just like in the movies and TV shows. Actually, I'm gonna lift these most up. Not only can you see the printing, the sticker's a little bit better. Now you can see some of the more detail. Another sticker, that is another sticker. I think they don't use a sticker there anymore. That's interesting. Oh, I'm always happy to have those pieces, those Republic emblems. Nice grill tiling on. You know, speaking of tiling, there's actually, for its time, there's a good amount of smooth surfaces throughout this thing. Especially, a lot of that is because of the angled pieces that they used a lot. This overall has a very nice and accurate shape, in my opinion. Oh, something interesting about this, though. There's a lot of dark gray in this. Actually, in the new set, actually, let me go get that real quick. Yeah, here's the new set. Look at the color difference. This is a lot darker. That's much lighter. So that's interesting, definitely. I find that pretty fascinating. You know, there's a nice tile over there. Overall, for its day, and display-wise, this looks really... I'm surprised by the looks of this, considering, what is it, 2005? It looks good. So there's those cannons, so they don't use the blue on there anymore. So, yeah. Alright, now the main interesting part here is definitely the canopy, which, like I said, is in a dark gray, if not the old dark gray. Yeah, they've always got this printing very, very, very nice. And of course, there is that window piece up there. Now, the interesting thing here is when we open up the canopy, because when we open up the canopy, you can sit, they put a chair in there, and you can sit Anakin in there completely. I think in the most recent one, you have to kind of like sit him back. In this one, yeah, he can sit in there completely, which is interesting. There's just a hinge brick that just allows us to open and close really easily. Now, there's 2 more stickers which are used to good effect, I think, and interestingly, they actually give you a stick, sort of, what I can't think, lever, I guess, for him to hold to control, which I think is actually great. I think that it actually may contribute to the play value, just gives kids a better, sense that their minifigure would be actually controlling. Of course, no kid would be playing with this nowadays, because of its, of course, age and collectability. But overall, I think it was a great idea for back then. The idea to put it, not to mention, there's more space back there. I don't know, maybe you'd even be able to. I think you might even be able to fit 2 figures in there, especially if you remove the seat. There's actually I don't know if that's probably not used for storage space, especially since you have a little bit of gap. There, you can see a little bit of light going through. Overall, I'm actually, one of my favorite parts about this build is the cockpit section itself. Last thing we can do, turn it upside down. There is landing gear. I think that's something that the new ones are missing as well. Actually, let me just double check. Yeah, I don't think that the newer ones have landing gear like this one does. Gives it a bit of extra articulation, definitely makes it look better on display. Like, giving it next to a minifig, it makes it maybe even look more intimidating. Yeah, I'm happy with this a lot. Yeah, I'm very surprisingly happy with this build for its day. There's just those engines on the back, by the way, to use some tire pieces. Yeah, this is a very basic build, but I think it's done nicely. So next we're going to take a look at the minifigs and then do an overall overview of this set. Alright, so here's the Anakin Skywalker minifig in this set. This is one of the very first renditions of this minifig. I believe this was the most common one at the time of its release. I believe, 2005? This guy is in great shape, practically new condition. And the first thing, of course, to point out is his lightsaber. It's great shine. Yeah, that's a great, look at that shine on it. Compared to look at this. This is the more common one. It's quite the difference with that chrome hilt. I have a couple of sets with these chrome hilts. I love them. They look great on display. I'm gonna be honest. They're more of a display item as they used to chip. I think it's overall a good thing that LEGO swapped to the newer ones, but it's definitely good for collectors just to get that little bit of a gem of LEGO history. No back printing or leg printing. And there is his torso. Very, very simple. For the time, yeah, honestly, I think this was a good minifig. His face print shows him having the headset on to fly. He looks pretty stern expression, not a guy you think you want to mess with. And they make some scar detailing on his head. Overall, this is a pretty good minifig. The hair piece may look a little bit off. I think that is definitely the best thing that they could have done back then. I don't see how they could have improved him much. There's not too much to say more about this figure. He's awesome. I'm glad to have him. Now, time for the overview of the set. Alright, so I've gathered everything back together, and now it's time for the overview look of the set. Now, overall, I think that this is a good set. If LEGO released this nowadays, of course, with a little bit of improvements, I think this would still do pretty well. Of course, they couldn't release it nowadays because they just released an Interceptor. They also released another one, not too long ago, so, it's 2014? 16, I think. Forget that, but still, honestly, I think that this is a good set, especially for its day. Honestly, some of this might feel a little bit flimsy. Actually, no, I changed my mind. This is a sturdy build. Actually, it presents very well on display because of these stands. The Vulture Droid also looks pretty good. Of course, it looks better in the flight position. Didn't bother to get him back into it. The Anakin Skywalker minifig is just a good treat. It's more to this set. Of course, they didn't have any other minifigs. What else would they would have added into this set? Any other minifig would have just seemed like a little bit of a maybe waste of budget. this is, of course, depicting the Battle of Coruscant, and by on the box art, no one else would really make sense. You know, there weren't like clone troopers or battle droids just floating around in space. But from my overall thoughts, I'm very happy to have this set. Of course, it's old. I love vintage Star Wars sets. This is a great thing to just look back on because they made both of those. They did everything here multiple times. Him, that, and that. All multiple times. So it's a great little thing to have. It has some pretty good play value, especially considering there were no like cool, there were not like no like really cool mechanics like flick fire, instead of spring-loaded shooters, or action features. Opening the wings and the cockpit is basically all the action you're gonna get out of this. But overall, very happy with this set. Feel free to let me know your thoughts on this set in the comments. And make sure you leave a like if you did end up enjoying the video, and subscribe to my channel because much more LEGO content is coming. So make sure you try to catch that, and I'll see you in my next video.